walks of life. I'm very conscious of the elevators. You're told not to even go in elevators right now. So it's very like, I'm just doing my best. We're happy that Utah is on the lower end of like cases and of course, fortunately, deaths. But so I do feel like there's a bit of a handle on it here. But you know, we're probably only a few weeks away from other cities. So I'm just trying to do my best to like, you know, do the whole thing. You know, be responsible.
Don't you feel like you have to be? And I can't wait to dive into the music part of your life.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't you feel like you either got to be all in or have no part of it? Like, because it's not going to work if, oh yeah, you know what, I'm going to stay in the weekend, and then you know what, we're going to go out and be around some people this next week. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that literally nothing is open. So like, you're just a jackass at that point if you're like, you know, hanging out. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't really want to like go to anyone's house anyway because like I don't know how they're cleaning. It's just, it comes down to like, I think I'm safest in here, you know. My neighbor will come down to try to like bring me a treat or a care package, and I'm like, just leave it outside.
Yeah.
Wear gloves. Like, I don't know. Even my mother, like family members, I'm just sort of avoiding. So it's, you know, I'm trying to do my best. I believe it's a real thing. Like we all should. Like at this point, I mean, I don't understand the people that are still going out, but I don't want to shame anybody at the same time. I just think it's a bit. Because I'm looking forward to the day that we can get back to like maybe playing live shows again, or maybe like going to another state. I like crave travel, and it's all those things you build your life upon, and then you go like, oh, I can't do any of it anymore. So it's interesting in that way.
It's you know, it's interesting because, well, I was going to say, who knows what live music is, the form of live music. You know what? We're going to get back to venues. It's going to be a minute, but
yeah.
It's interesting because the way you're delivering news about your band, maybe new songs or performing and keeping yourselves relevant during this, it's a totally different MO than, I mean, have you guys kind of done this over the past couple of years anyway?
You know, I've always been more social media savvy than the rest of my group. That's not a diss on my band. But I've always enjoyed it, but I've never hopped on like live as much as I have, or like, you know, I have my own Instagram account that I have my own point of view on, and so I've always expressed it on that. But I've been doing way more of that just because it's like it's the only thing that I feel connected like to a human, you know. It's so it's almost out of like desperation at this point, just to like utilize the tools, you know.
I do know. I totally do. You know, the way, I don't know, I think this is kind of interesting. Does it mean more work for you guys when we're past all of this? Meaning, dude, you're going to be playing live shows. People cannot wait, by the way, to see your band again in concert. There's such a badass, energized, vibrant vibe to a Neon Tree show.
Thanks.
And my comment about working more, like, do you think fans are going to want, like, hey, after a show, you're going to have to get on social media and stuff again? And obviously you will dictate whether you want to do that. But, like, there are some interesting avenues of connecting that I think has come out of this. Like,
yeah.
Does that make any sense, dude?
Yeah, it does. I think, why stop it if you started it, especially in this couple months that we're going to be in, hopefully just a couple months. I feel like more connected to my fans and to our fans than it's been in a bit, because I think it became Instagram, at least in my mind, and I think a lot of artists' minds became like, let's promote, let's like only show like the best stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're all forced to sort of like be leveled. So like, I don't even fucking care sorry if I'm cussing.
That's all right.
It's the radio, so I'm like, is this a...
We're on the internet.
I don't even care what I look like on, you know, today I was like, let me actually do my hair and put a shirt on, like, but normally, like, you know, I won't step foot on a stage or in front of a lounge or a live thing at all, and if I don't look at the vibe. But now it's kind of like everyone's kind of peeking behind the curtain. I'm liking that the pettiness of social media is maybe dialed down a bit right now, and I hope that we can keep that and remember that. It's such, you know, like, I hope we go back to normal in the best way, but I do hope that we like retain some things, you know. I was in 11th grade when 9/11 happened, and not to liken that to this, but it just reminds me of a point in when the world had to stand still for a bit. And this is completely different, obviously. But I hope we like stand still and kind of are forever changed in the best ways. Like I really do. So that's what I'm trying to add hope to or cling on to.
I really do gravitate towards that, and I think a lot of us. I'm hopeful. We also know, you know, after a couple of months, it's so freaking easy to be snarky or a dick to somebody else on social media.
Oh, sometimes that's my favorite thing still, to troll, but like there's just no room for it right now. I don't know. Like, I guess.
I hope we're a little bit more patient and kind, and really, I don't know. You know, your comment about pulling the curtain back a little bit. But by the way, your hair is badass, dude. Can we just that? Yeah,
it's working today. Like,
hell yeah, it is.
I don't know.
I mean,
sometimes it doesn't.
This is what I have, dude. So please embrace that.
Dude, I hear you, man.
But you know, as far as pulling the curtain back, like, I think, well, I don't know. I sort of feel over the past couple of years being real, whether you're a musician in a band that has a shitload of people listening and fans and stuff, or you're just you know, anybody else, like, I think people want real. So I think it's really cool to see somebody that, generally speaking, we've only seen on stage, right? Maybe a meet and greet with you and your band, but to see you in your own home, in your living room, having a conversation about stuff that all of us that are watching, we all relate to that. And I think there's something really cool about that.
Yeah, I'm leaning in more and more to that because I think, like I said before, when we didn't have anything going on, maybe for, you know, we were in between records, or I was, you know, you're working on a record for a year and a half, so you don't want to every day just say, this is what we're doing in the studio. It's like you start to feel a little bit conscious of like, oh, am I not like, you know, because it became a thing where like whatever's on Instagram or whatever's on social media is what you've been doing.
Yep.
If we're not posting. And now it's kind of like, yeah, I agree, like the connective part of it. And also like, I look at comedians and how many like podcasts there are that are successful, and like I love waiting every other day for a new podcast from one of my favorite comedians, and they just shoot the shit for like 2 hours, and I like that model too. You know, we've had a career now for 10 plus years in music. I think our fans only like to hear that a dumb joke or a weird story or, you know, all that stuff. So
I want to talk about a song. I don't know if you know it. I think it's called Animal. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that song because it's been around a minute. You've performed it loads of times, but it's one of those songs where I don't care how many times I've heard it. When it comes on, I try to sing. I can't sing, dude. Like, I can't sing. But like, I love that song a lot, and it is instant smile on my face when I hear it or play it on DC101 or any of the radio stations. After all of these years, how do you feel as a band? Because let's say you've played it 2,000 times. Do you, and you know, a big part of concerts people want to hear the hits, right? I'm one of the types that love a records from you guys where I listen from start to finish, and I listen all the way through. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but maybe that's the way you make records. But I guess what I'm asking is, do you ever get tired of playing it? Do you feel you gotta play it?
Animal? No. No, not at all. It's even more fun because we've been blessed to have a couple other songs that have popped off. Like, it's fun to put Animal towards the beginning of a set, you know?
Oh.
Because I think a lot of people go, oh, they'll play it at the end or something. It's
like, dude, yes.
It's kind of fun to like throw it in at number 3 or 4, and then they're like, what? You know, and that just adds to the energy. And so in that way, I love it. And like, I was you know, I've been going to shows since I was like 13 years old, and I understand that want to hear the songs, you know, the songs that, and of course you want to hear the deep cuts, and I'm an album obsessive too, and I still will. I think I'll always make an album when we, you know, even though albums may be passé at this point, like I do listen to albums. And so yeah, like I know that there are fans in the first few rows that like want to hear track 8 on album 2, but I also want to like appease the people showing up. And at that point, like when a song becomes as big as maybe Animal, it's everyone else's. It's not mine anymore. You know?
I love hearing that, dude.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's fast forward to Used to Like.
Yeah.
There are so many kick-ass songs in between. You know, when you have a relatively new song like that, at what point does it disconnect from you? And what I mean by that is you and the band Neon Trees have let's just use Used to Like as the example, like however long you were working on it or putting it together and stuff prior to it being heard by everybody else, that's yours, dude. Nobody knows what that is or has ever heard it. Once it's released and it becomes everybody's, which I love that you said that, because I think a lot of us can totally relate to that. Does it slowly over time just kind of, all right, I love you, I'll always love you, now beat it?
I'm happy to move on from songs in a personal way, because you know, I put a lot of myself in my point of view. I try to make it as universal as possible, but so, you know, we've only probably played Used to Like maybe 6 or 7 times live as a band, because you know, it only came out a couple months ago. So like, I think we're still like, you know, fine tuning it and all that. Like, it's as far as like the live, and I think we're still, you know, for a while it's probably still promoting it in a way. But yeah, like I think I think, you know, for example, I made a solo record a couple years ago that was deeply about like a faith crisis that I was having, my identity crisis that I was having, and how those intertwined.
Yep.
And that record I had to just put on the shelf because I didn't get to play it that much live, and there's still people kind of discovering it, and I'm happy that it's found like its audience. But those songs for me, when I do play them live,
I think we are hiccuping on the connection. I'll stay tight. Hey, can you guys? I think, excuse me. I think we dropped off, but I'm assuming he'll hit me back. Excuse me. Laura Huber, your point a few minutes ago was such a damn good one. Let's see here. Stand by.
sorry, I have no idea what happened.
No worries. No worries.
I was like,
so you were talking about that record, and it was
it's just
personal.
My point is, I think like I'm happy to get to the point where they don't affect me, and I think some of those songs probably still affect me because I kind of had to just put it away, like, instead of it doesn't, like, it lives in the ether. Like, I'm glad people discover it, but like for me, those songs can still kind of trigger memories or things like that. So, you know, but a song like Animal, I wrote it when I was 25 and 24, and like, and it brings so much joy to people's faces, and it, you know, and it's also a song, like, it's so in the pocket for my voice live that I enjoy singing it too. So it's not one where I like, why did I go that high on the record? You know, and then you have to try it live. But that one's kind of in a good space. So yeah,
that's it. That I do like hearing that, because that's also another thing. You can create anything you want in the studio, but to actually go back and perform it live, sometimes it can be a challenge. But I like hearing that song is all in, like, you're all in on that, and you can do exactly what you did and maybe even more on live performance, you know?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's 10 years old this last month, so it's bizarre that song's been rocking.
It's been a minute since we've gotten a record.
Yeah, we have a record.
Like how I just kind of went in for the kill on that, like.
I know you and every one of our fans for the last few years, but I'm happy that people want music still. I think you can sometimes get to a point where maybe people are like, cool, we liked what you did the first go around, but we're kind of, so I'm glad that people are still receptive. Like, that's such a dream come true. And yeah, I got to pour my heart and soul into be like 40 tracks this last year and a half and whittle it down to 10, and we have a record. And I think we're just we're like at that final point where like you have to tweak, you could tweak to death, and we just have to stop tweaking the record. But it's cool right now because there's such an open space where you're kind of like, there's, the rules have already changed again, and they're always changing in the music industry, but like I feel like they've changed again now with this social distancing thing, where it's like, I think some people want to just be able to like put on new stuff. So I'm glad that there's artists like, I know the Pilots are putting out a song today. I love that. Like The Weeknd put a record out 2 weeks ago. I like that people are using the space to put a record out. I don't come at it like in a crass way where it's like, let's capitalize on people's time. But it's kind of like, for us, we haven't put a record out in a while, like you said. And I think people they don't want to wait till like October, like for us to push back the record again. Like, so we're definitely actively thinking of audibles and how we can like promote a record in this time and all that. So,
I mean, it's certainly a consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be as big of a consideration as, let's just pick, I don't even want to pick a date because I don't want to have people start talking about it. Let's just say this summer you had the release date, and then you hear of a couple of other bands dropping some stuff with some big records. Maybe you postpone it because you almost want the perfect time to release it.
Yeah, but there never is. And it's like, every Friday now, every Thursday. It's like, I love that too, where like, I grew up Tuesdays, right? Where we got the records, and that probably dates me. I'm 36 years old. I'm not that old, but like, I still remember that. So it's like, I like that now. It's like you could get a new record on Monday if an artist wants to release it. So I think we're being very considerate, and we're putting out a remix Used to Like tomorrow, but then I think we're going to put a new track out and then sort of drop the name and start it. Because like, of course, I am like jonesing. These songs have been in my life way too long now. It's like I want them out, almost so that I can like give them to our fans and then start writing again and move on. So,
well, and then because like you're, as a musician and a singer-songwriter, you're always probably, there's just no way you could live your life. Maybe it's after a tour, or after a live show, and you're in a hotel room or back on the bus. Your mind is always percolating new stuff, and that has got to be a little exhausting.
Oh yeah, and like, I love looking at the model that a lot of young artists are creating, where they make a song and 2 days later put it out. Like, I understand that there's an infrastructure and we've built a career, but at the same time, like, I like that model. I like the spontaneity. I don't necessarily like, I want to put records out when they have that feeling, because I do believe you put energy into stuff and people are going to receive that energy, hopefully. So when they sit for too long, like this phase right now where we're like a week away from being done and just tweaking, I'm just like, this is like my least favorite. I just want the mastered record in my hands, and like, so
we're getting close. We're getting close, right?
We're getting close, yeah.
Somebody asked a question, which I think is a hell of a question. When you're listening to the record, how is it comparing to the others? I'm going to let you answer that. I tend to ask questions and then I answer for people. I'm an idiot.
Do you want to complete your thought? Like, I'm cool if you have more thought to that, but.
Well, I'm just interested, are there parts of the record where you're going this way, which will surprise us with maybe a
lot? Yeah, like, I don't even think Used to Like sounds like old records, but it still does in a way. Like, I think it still captures an energy that Tree's albums have, but I don't listen to a lot of, like, I probably listened to Habits, our first record, last month a bit because we were kind of celebrating it with fans and doing online stuff, but I don't go back and go like, oh man, it doesn't sound like our, Pop Psychology or something. Like, to me, I think I have managers and teams going like, okay, like, I love what you're doing and I love what you're exploring. Can we get a song that at least like feels like that? And then I'll go, okay, tonally maybe But I really don't think I even did it this time. I think this record feels unique, but feels like a Trees record. And I think we've always made strides each record to like, you know, we borrow heavily from the late 70s and 80s pop rock music and power pop and new wave. We love that kind of world. But I think this record has that sensibility, but isn't afraid to utilize modern sounds too. And I like that. Yeah, I don't like to get too heady about like what the record sounds like, but I'm proud of it. Like, I'm proud that I'm still like making records that don't sound like we're just trying to keep the train alive. It's inspiring, you know, that I can still make a record in this band that stimulates me. And, you know, I don't want to get to the point where we're making records in this band that like are just to make them so we can go out on tour and make money or something. Like, that doesn't, like, no beef and no shade to any band that built that and wants to do that, but like, I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm not ready in my life or creatively to do that. So yeah.
Well, there isn't any necessarily any consistent timeline with Neon Trees on dropping records. Like, in the beginning of the band, you could sort of, but then over the past couple of years, dude, you've thrown that out.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. You know, I also have a lot of bands that I'm a fan of that, man, every 3 years, you know, you're getting a record.
Yeah.
Tour it for a year and a half, 2 years, then I'll go back in the studio, and you know what I mean?
We are planning to get back on a schedule. I think, you know, there's boring behind the scenes business stuff that happens too, that we had to take space for, and, you know, and just like personal things that you kind of go like, do I even want to do this anymore? You know, and
Sure.
I really feel all in, and I think the last couple of years the band has felt all in. So it's really nice to have that energy in the band, you know.
I got a personal question for you. Do you have any instruments in your condo?
I have a guitar that I strung up a couple weeks ago that I've been hammering on a bit, but and I have like a piano that I recorded with and stuff. But
I'm seeing a lot of hearts after I asked you that question.
Cool.
You gonna play anything for us?
Yeah, I can play some.
Weird.
Weird. Will it sound good over? Well, I guess we'll find out.
Well, I think we will find out, and I think the microphone on your phone is delightful, and quite frankly, I think I can speak on behalf of everybody that's checking this out. Right. We just appreciate your time, dude. Like, yeah, you know, that's pretty cool, and I'm cognizant of people's time, my time. So this is very unique, and this is cool. So I'm gonna shut up and
okay. Let
you do what you want to do.
I'm like, all right. This song's called, well, now I don't have my band, so this will sound different, but this song is called Animal. Here we go.
It's just freaking incredible.
Oh, thank you. How did it sound over that? I'm so interested.
It sounded great.
All right.
It's like listening to an old friend again, and that's for real in all of the good parts of that. And like, I know I'm not the only one, and I listen to music pretty intensely, and dude, you're just giving me goosebumps when I hear that song, because the reference of listening to that and hearing like it's from an old friend is like, that's what I love about music. And I know I'm not.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Somebody just asked, what's in your shake?
It's actually just iced coffee.
Okay.
It's a glass. We got a metal straw, like we're eco.
Yeah, dude. Do you have any animals at your house?
I don't. I've the amount of times every night that I go to look at adoption agencies just to get a dog because I'm like bored and lonely. Like, just in the last like 2 weeks, I'm like, ugh, you know. But I don't even think we're really technically supposed to have pets in this building. But
got it.
We'll see.
Got it.
Yeah.
I've been mine right now. She's sleeping right now, but her name is Ma Brown because she's.
I'm so jealous.
Ma Brown, what's up?
Hi.
I love the fact that you're open to that, though.
Yeah, no, I know. You know, for a while you come up with excuses like, how do I tour, or how do I go on planes, or how do I be gone? But I don't know. You kind of make it work when you have love for a pet, I'm sure. And
yeah, dude. Yeah.
So
Do I need to twist your arm into playing maybe?
I'll play one more. Yeah, I was prepared to play one more.
Yeah, dude, this is very generous. So thank you very, very much.
This is Used to Like, and it's it actually, so this acoustic version makes it really sad because the song is actually kind of I think even Animal is a little sad. I think there's through lines that I try to fit in of like sadness or desperation in these like sunny songs. So I don't want to make anyone feel bad, but I do want to make people feel seen if they're like feeling kind of lonely or disconnected, which is very appropriate right now. So yeah, so this is Used to Like. Thank you.
You see it?
We got the hairs.
Yeah, you you have sort of hidden that song behind a veil of alty poppy vibes, and when you just broke it down like that, it's the words are the same, but the way you're delivering them with that guitar is so personal. And like, I know I'm a total cheeseball, so
me too, obviously. I'm a sentimental guy. Yeah,
it's incredible, that version of the song. I love the radio version that we're playing. We've been on that for a bit. It's a great song.
And thank you so much, by the way. That means a lot to us. So.
But when you broke it down like that, I almost feel like you better do that in concert. You better do that version and follow it up with the other or something, because I think there's a real that shit's real, dude.
Thanks, man.
And it's no less real on the radio version. But when you break it down like that, your voice is incredible. And somebody said that too. So thank you very much for playing that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Dude, honestly, like doing this breaks up the monotony of the day. So I miss singing, so I don't get to, that feels good. So I appreciate the kindness.
What's Tyler going to do the rest of the day?
I'm going to hop on probably another live with my bass player, see how he's doing. I got a box of food that came from one of those delivery. I'll probably cook. Like, I don't know, like it's very mundane. But I do try to fill, I try to fill my time with editing dumb videos and entertaining people, because at least that's a connection. And yeah, trying to fill my days with purpose, for sure. I think.
Do you ever take naps?
You know what I do is I just sleep really long.
Yeah.
And then drink coffee at 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's really been a pleasure. That's an understatement, and I cannot wait to welcome you back to Washington, D.C. or anywhere you play. I want to give a public service announcement to musicians such as yourselves that are not generating money from ticket sales, and to buy music online, buy Neon Trees music, and maybe a T-shirt. And just that is a way that we can support while not able to buy a ticket and go see you guys live and buy the shirt. Yeah. There. So I think that's
I just want to remind people, and this is just like peeling back behind the curtain again, but your favorite bands and artists, because you put them on a platform like I do with my faves, you think they're invincible, or you think maybe they lead this life that you don't. And I just, I want to make it clear that like, that doesn't mean because you love their music doesn't mean that they're like able to make it infinitely. And a lot of bands and artists are nervous because we do make our money on the road. So, like all industries right now, especially in the gig and entertainment industries, it's just be considerate of the fact that like no one's trying to cancel shows or get out of something or an obligation or push back music. It's very much still our livelihood. So I just appreciate that people are patient and cool and understanding, and not at all is this a sob story. It's very considerate of the fact that like everybody's kind of figuring it out. So, but yeah, so just thank you, the guys, for still liking us and supporting us. So.
It doesn't come across as a sob story at all. It just comes across as what we were talking about earlier. Like, you're just real, dude. Like,
yeah.
And we're all trying to figure it out. I feel bad for the service industry too. And I feel bad for people that have, had their career put on hold with a big fat question mark,
Yeah.
I think you would also agree that there's going to be one hell of a great time at venues all around the world once.
Do you think we'll all just collectively explode when we're allowed to, like, we're just going to be like.
Believe that in my heart. I totally believe that.
The party, man. The party will be hell.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to give you a high five and a big fat hug when you're back in Washington D.C. and support you guys. Yeah, for sure, dude. So thank you so much for your time. I know that you're being pulled in all different directions, but we
No problem.
truly appreciate it.
Yeah, same. Thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah, dude. We'll see you very, very soon. All the best.
All right. I hope so. Yeah. Take care. And bye, everybody.
Thanks, Tyler.
Okay, bye. See you.
Bye.